Looks like we are live again. Good afternoon, guys. Today I have a new episode of how to learn to play Age of Empires 2. How to play Age of Empires 2. In this episode we will look at the mods and hotkeys for this game. The mods and hotkeys are the ones that I personally use, and I'm gonna show how I use them and how you can find your custom mods and your custom hotkeys that you would also like to use when you play. To start off, we have the main menu here on Age of Empires 2 DE, and from the first episode we already went to this cog wheel up here. We clicked on mods and we installed the small trees mods. That was from the first episode I did. Let's go to single player and boot up a game against the computer AI. We will play on Arabia, 1v1 size, 2-player against the AI, and we will have the all visible minimap on, so you can view the whole map. When I start here now, I'm gonna pause the game. I'm gonna go to my desktop. I'm gonna open a text document which we will use. Let's make a new one and let's call it Hotkeys. Put it on always on top, and let's just put it over here in a small size, like so, like this. Before I go any further, we are going to look at hotkeys now in the beginning of this stream. If I click on the scroll in the right top corner, go to options, and this is important. I showed you this last time as well. If we go to the hotkeys tab, we can see that I use the classic hotkeys. And again, before I move on, the classic hotkeys are the ones that were the ones back in 90s when you played Age of Empires 2 for the first time. Those are the original ones. The HD hotkeys is with the newer version that came in 2013, the high definition Age of Empires 2. If you play that, you might want to have those hotkeys. And the Definite editions is the game that we're playing right now, the Definite edition. I'm gonna go with the classic hotkeys because those are the ones that I always used. And I also I think I also did an edited version of this. I have custom hotkeys. So if I click OK and go back to the screen, the first thing we're gonna talk about is the idle villager hotkey. Gonna put it back like that so you can weave the whole text. We have a button up here. You can click on it if you want to. I have a hotkey for it, and it goes through to check who's not working, which of the villagers is not working. I put those in work. I built a house, so you can see the last one is just this one, and it says 1. So at the beginning of the game, there's 2 ways you can build houses. So the first one is when making houses. The first thing you can do is drag bubble to make house. I'll increase the size of this text document so you can weave the whole text, like so. So I'm gonna show both examples. The second one is when you use idle hotkey to make. I'll show both examples. Personally, I maybe use the drag bubble the most. Sometimes I use the idle hotkey if I'm playing really like seriously. The first method is to drag bubble, place house, like so. The next method, and I'll show you the key I use for this. It's like so. I can show that again, it's really fast. Sorry, I'll do that one more time. Excuse me. Like so. And the key I use for idle villagers, I'll show it to you. Go to Hotkeys. Sorry, I'll move this a little bit. And it should be game commands. And it's down here somewhere. Select not all. You don't want to select all of them. It's yeah, it's in the cycle commands. And you go, here is the one. Go to the next idle villager, and right next to the number 1 on your keyboard is a key called I'm not sure how to say it in English, but right to the left of number 1 you have a key, and it's this key, the line key here, and that is the key I use to go to the idle villagers. It's really helpful and good to have a key to cycle through idle villagers. If I increase the size again, and I'm gonna put idle key equals to the left of 1. That was the first thing I wanted to show you, the idle key. You can also click on the button if you would like to do that, but again it's much slower, and you can keep your hands keep the arrow, the mouse on the screen instead of clicking up here. The next thing we need to look at is the town center hotkey, also called TC. A town center is abbreviated as the TC, town center. It's called TC, and the hotkey to go to town center is H. It's H for me. I just press H and I can go to anywhere I want, and I press H and I go back to the town center. It's probably the most important key in all of AoE, if you ask me, because you have to always make villagers and build your economy. So the hotkey for town center is probably the most important one you can have. Okay, so let's do the start over again. have houses, you have TC, you make villagers. In town center, make villagers. When you make units, they also have a hotkey. I'll move the text document a little bit. You can see the hotkey for making villagers for me is C. So I just pressed H and C to make villagers. When you make units, you have two different ways to make a unit. The first one, I'll show it here. I'm just gonna remove the Q. First one is just to either press, like so, or you can use the hotkey C and you press C a lot of times to make villagers. And the last one is clicking hotkey presses, so you can make the villagers. And I'm just going to put a number 1 here, and the second one, I think I'm going to go and do this. Just hold on a little minute, guys. Yeah, that's fine. The first method is to click or hotkey presses when you want to make a unit. Yeah, that's good. And the last method is to hold in the shift key. The shift key is right next to control and next to the C button. You hold in shift key and then you can just press the hotkey again. And when you hold in shift, and you can also click, by the way. You can also click if you don't use the hotkey. When you hold in shift, you make 5. It should be 5 units, I think. The reason why it's only 4 in production is because you can only afford 4 at the beginning. But when you have the resources, I can show you if I do a little sheet code here. It should make 5 villages now. Yes, it does. So when holding in the shift key, you can make 5 units if you can afford it with the resources. Again, I'm gonna show you the start again. So here's the thing I do. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna drag, make houses. I'm gonna press the H button, and I'm gonna hold in the shift key and press C. Like that. And there you have the basic start. The second is to hold shift key while hotkey press 5x units. Now that we have that under control, the next step you do after we have built the houses and made the villagers, you usually give a control group to your scout. In this case I made it 1. It's maybe a little bit hard to see. You gather the resources and you start your economy. I'm not gonna do economy in this episode because I already showed you in the first episode how to do the early economy. This is just to show how to do hotkeys and get faster with the game. Yes. And next we can look at basic buildings and military buildings. What I mean by this is when you click on a worker, villager, you have the basic buildings and you have the military buildings. If I move this, so for me, I press B and E to make a house, B, E to make a house. Just gonna make a cheat code again so we can get wood resources. If I were to go to the military, I think I just press V. No, I have to press Q, escape. Sorry, if I were on this menu, but if I wanted to go to military buildings, I first were in this menu. You can either go here, like so. You can press the X hotkey, but if you don't do that, you can press the escape button and then you can press V to get into military buildings. And then B for barracks again. It's really... And also, I think if I were in this menu, I can still make a military building. Let's try. Yes, I can. Without going to the next screen, if you know the hotkey. It's really helpful. Also, if I went into the military building, I think I can still make a house by pressing the E, in my case, E for a house. Yes, I can. So it's really useful to know the hotkeys for this. I'm not gonna expect you to know all of them like in the first month or so, but the more you play, you will learn the hotkeys after a while. So there you go. I think that's a good explanation for hotkeys right there. The next thing I want to show, I already showed this in the first episode, but this is really important. This multiple building placement. I showed you this in the first episode. I'm gonna repeat it here. It's really slow to always go to the menu to make houses like this, or if you press, it's even slower. There is a way to place multiple buildings at once, is that you have the foundation ready, like this, and then you hold in the shift key, and then you hold the shift key all the way, and you can make as many buildings as you want. Just hold in the shift key and then you press with the mouse. That's really important. For example, later on, if you were to make military buildings. Now I have 8 barracks. Just double click on the buildings to check how many you have in this area. You can see I have 8. So definitely use shift key when you have the resources and if you want to make many buildings, like so. Okay, I'm gonna restart again. In this next example, I'm gonna show you how I lure the boar. Before I go and lure the boar, you have a key over here called garrison, and garrison you can enter buildings. I'm just gonna make a house here. It's fine. Hold shift key building foundation ready. Hold shift key, then place. Again, that was hold the shift key if you want to make multiple buildings. Over to the next step, we will see how to lure a boar. The first thing you do is to put the villager in a control group. I usually use control group number 3. You have the garrison command over here. You can put the villager inside of the town center. You can see the town center can hold up to 15 villagers with a normal civ. I think maybe it was Chinese that can do a little bit more. Yes, they can support like 25 instead of 15. Sorry, just another cheat code here. The buildings that you can jump inside is watchtowers, castles, and the town centers are the buildings you can jump inside. And the way you want to do it when you load the boar, if you can manage, do it without the loom. The loom gives villagers more HP, more health, and a little bit of armor. But you want to do loom right before you click up. So save the upgrade if you can. If it's really hard to lure the boars, you can use loom and try to train a little bit with that. I'm gonna do it without. So you just have the villagers ready here. They can stay under the TC. You always want to lure the boar underneath the town center, under it. Let's go. Control group on him. So if I were to look here, I can just press again, go back to it. If that was the case. Shoot it twice, run away. Click back to the town center. Have these villagers ready. Shoot the boar. Jump inside. And I'm gonna actually pause a little bit. Let's jump inside again. He's inside of the town center now, right? And here is the hotkey to send it back to work. And it's only one villager inside. I just garrison with the G button. It's G for me. And then I press W to send it back out again, like so. And there you go. A really safe and good boar kill. There's also another thing you can do. Say for example, if this villager were working on this boar, you can jump inside the town center. He's inside right now. You right click on the resource you want to send it to. In this case it's berries, and I can press the E button. That's to send it away. The difference between the E button and the send back to work is the villager I put inside now, he already walked on the boar, so I'm just gonna send it outside again to work on the same resource he already were working on, like so. He's gonna go back. Another example, I'm gonna show every example right now. We're gonna have a little bit of different resources right now. We're gonna have 1 on berries. We're gonna have 3 on the boar and some on wood. Okay, we're gonna pretend that the enemy is raiding us. He's already attacking our base, and we want to protect our villagers. We don't want them to die. So we're gonna select all of them. I dragged a bubble over them. Make them jump inside of the town center. It can hold up to 15 villagers. Okay, so when villagers are inside of the town center will fire at the enemy. They will protect the village and shoot the enemy if they are close to the town center. So let's say that the enemy is attacking the town center right now, and the town center is killing the enemy. Wait a little bit. Okay, the village is safe now. This is just a scenario, something that could happen. And the village is safe now. We have 7 inside of the town center, and we want all of the villagers to go back to work. If you press this button now, the E button in my case, you're gonna send everyone to this wood. And you don't want to send everyone to this tree. you want to put them back to work. So you press W instead. And you can see all of the villagers go back to the same place they were already working. Like so. There's another example you can do. You can ring the town bell. There is one problem with the town bell. And I'll explain it right now. It's much easier to just drag and put the selected villagers you want inside of the town center. Because when you press the town bell, everyone, and I mean everyone in the village, will run to the town center, even if it's full. It can only support 15 villagers, and it's just gonna make a total mess of your base and your economy. And say for example, if I had multiple town centers here, if I had one town center over here, I had one down here, and I had like say 70 villagers. If I rang the town bell and the enemy was over here, just with a small force, everyone in this town center, in that town center, in this town center, everyone will just jump inside, even if they are not attacking down here or up here. So it's gonna cost you a lot of time, and the resources are wasted if you rang the town bell, because it's gonna move everyone in your whole town inside of town centers, and it's just much easier to drag over the selected villagers and then make them jump inside with the garrison, like I showed you earlier. Okay, that's a really good example. Let's move on. So let's bring up the text document again. Garrison. I think that's the way you type it. Need to make sure. Just hold on a minute, guys. Yeah, good. Garrison hotkey. I'm gonna put jump inside G. Back to work equals W. Sorry. And then you have the is it called unpack? I need to make sure. Ungarrison. Same resource. Ungarrison. Like a new new waypoint destination. I hope you guys understood that. The back to work will send the villagers back to the resource they were working on from earlier, and the ungarrison is gonna be to the new waypoint flag, like so. And sometimes maybe you watch this on a top player pro stream. There is a way you can waypoint deer and boar, and to be honest, this is a real fun fact. This took me years and years to know, to understand. I knew about this way back in the day, but I never knew how to do it, even though I saw it on streams. So there's a little bit of a tricky way to do this. Say for example, let's have one villager for reference. And where's the second boar? It's over here. And you can see if I try to right click it, it's just gonna say the target is too far away to attack. So how do I send this villager from this town center to take the boar? Because I'm just gonna show you something else. We're gonna restart after this, of course. This is just for learning purposes, education. We have everyone selected inside of the town center. You can see I want them to take the boar, but the town center is just gonna shoot the boar instead when you right click. And the boar is dead now and you can't eat it. You can't take the resources. So how do I take the boar? With a waypoint. So the way you do it is just gonna leave those over there. We need some villagers. We can use this woman to have the boar. This is just an example. If you want to do it this way, I usually like click over here like so, and then this villager will take the boar. But you can do it another way, and I will show you. Just need a few more villagers. We can go with that. And the way you do it, you have to click on this banner. You have to click on this banner because you can't right click on the boar. You have to click on this banner. You have this waypoint here, and then you click on the boar like so. I use caps lock for it, so I can just do, I can do like so. And the next villager in production now will go and take the boar with the banner. You can see he's already going to take the boar now. Just going to stop him with the stop hand icon, and then we're just going to use the villager we gathered inside, garrison inside, like so, and then you click the ungarrison key. Same thing applies to the dare. Here's the dare. You can't just right click like so. That won't work because the town center thinks it wants to attack the dare, and the dare is out of distance. So you have to click on the banner, in my case caps lock hotkey, and then you can send the villagers to take the dare, like so. You ungarrison with the E key, that one. And as you see, you have to remember to take the villager back to the town center. If you don't, this will happen when you load the boar. TC is the town center again. TC banner hotkey. TC banner hotkey equals caps lock for me. And you can use that on dares, and you can use it on boars if you want to. Just remember to control group the hunter, so he may walk safely back home again. It's really important. Okay, I think I've covered some good tips here at the town center. There's also one more thing I can talk about. In the past, I always clicked when I wanted to click up to the next age. I click down here on this upgrade to the next age. I don't have it enabled here. I'm just gonna do it right now, show it for you guys. I have this on my main account. We go to options, the scroll in the right corner, options, hotkeys. Gonna remove the text document for a little bit, a while. We go down to, I think it's town center. Yes, this is the one. And you see here we have the upgrades, the techniques. And we have this one for H up. And you can make a hotkey to click up. I use Q on my town center because it's easy to click on and remember with the keyboard. And now we're gonna use some cheat codes here. Number Yuck. Gonna make some buildings. Okay, we did that. We're gonna disable the speed sheet now. You need 500 food to click up, but I'm gonna do it the easy way, like so. I have 500 food now, and you can see I set the upgrade to the next H to the hotkey Q. The way I did it in the past, I just clicked like this. You can see I'm going up. This is the bar. When this finishes, you will reach feudal age. But you can just press Q now, and it's much easier. So definitely recommended if you want to have an easy hotkey to click up. You can do that. Moving on. I'm gonna type this in the text document also. Make a hotkey for next H on TC. Hotkey equals Q. Yeah, that's fine. And you just press the Q button when you want to click up. I'm trying my best here. I'm sorry if I have a sore throat. I'm trying my best. The next step will be the resource buildings like lumber camp, mining camp, and the mill. Let's play it a little bit normal now. It's important to notice that you can right click on the sheep, but you can't right click on theirs and boars. But on the sheep, just go ahead and right click all you want. Same with all of the other resources like stone, trees, berries and gold. Just right click and you send the villager to the destination. You can't do it with the boar and you can't do it there. You have to use the waypoint banner. Okay, this is just a normal start. You want to have 6 on food on the sheeps. And the next one, let's send them to wood. We can take the wood down here. And I use B to get to this menu. And I use C to build a lumber camp. This is the standard hotkey from the 90s. You press C to make a lumber camp. You can also make a lumber camp if you went to the wrong menu, to the military buildings. Just press C and you can make the lumber camp. Lumber camp, wood, forest, hotkey equals C. We need a little bit of wood before we can make new buildings. And notice that you want to put the lumber camp as close to the forest as you can. This has to do with travel distance, so it's less traveling to do when you travel to the lumber camp again with the resources. sorry, I need to go back to the right text document. I'll upload this text document to YouTube and Discord when I'm done with this. We have 4 on lumber camp. In this example, we're just gonna put 5 because I want to place down buildings, and that's the only reason I'm going with 5 here. Okay, the next one we can do is the mill. And I have the I hotkey for a mill. Just press I and you can make the mill anywhere. But in this case we're gonna make the mill to this berries, and again as close as possible would be good. This mill building, they can also accept boars and they can accept deers. They take all the food resources in the game, also fish. We have a shorefish down here. If I were to place a mill over here, you can also put the shorefish into the mill. All the food resources. Don't get housed. There's also one more thing that's really important. You need to make a mill to get to farms. It requires a mill to produce farms. Next up, we're gonna make the mining camp. I'm just gonna put a mill for all food resources. Hotkey equals I. Mining camp, stone and gold. Hotkey for a mining camp is the one I use. Equals G. I press G to make a mining camp. And there is a little bit different with the mining camp and the lumber and mill. With the mill, most of the time you want to have it as close as you can, and same with the lumber camp, as close as you can. But with the gold, it's much better to have a one tile space to the building. This is because you want to have the villagers to get in this area. And you can have many villagers. Say you can have, for example, all of this working on the gold, and that's why you want it to have a one tile like expansion. That's the difference with the gold. If I were to place the mining camp next to as close as I could, the villagers would have a much harder time to take the resources on the gold. That's the difference. Really important. Happy to tell that. Okay, and there you go, all the resource hotkeys. And if possible, you want to use the hotkeys all the time when making buildings and making resource stations, because if I were to click all the time, it just takes a while longer, you know. Yeah, it takes more time to click. You want to learn the hotkeys for this. And now that I used a cheat code for wood, you can place farms. When placing farms, remember the shift for multiple buildings placement. It's much easier. You see, you can make farms like so. And there you go, a perfect, almost perfect farm placement. And also for like later in the game, when you make farms away from the town center, you make a mill press the I for mill, and then you press F for farms, and you make it like maybe like this. Just gonna show off like so, and there you have a good mill for farms as well. Okay, I think I've covered that. Next up we're gonna switch mode, I think. We're gonna go to a water map and we're gonna put on a lot of resources. Let's pick maybe Team Islands and the tiny map, and let's put it to Deathmatch. Deathmatch gives you a lot of resources. And let's start in Imperial Age. Not with all the upgrades, but just in Imperial Age. Okay, we have started in the latest age, and you can see we already have some of the upgrades. I'm gonna see if we have all of them or not. Okay, we don't have the upgrades in Imperial Age, that's fine. Gonna start over. We're gonna take a look at the other things that's really important. Okay, we can start with the feudal age buildings. When you get to the feudal age after the first age, you can make something called a blacksmith. It's this one. I'm just gonna move the text document a little bit so you can see much better. It's S hotkey for me. Press S. And you make a blacksmith. The blacksmith is where you put all the military upgrades for the most part, like more attack on the horse and more armor on the horse, for example. It's really helpful to know the hotkeys for this, so you can make a blacksmith and you can put the upgrades you want. Following the blacksmith, we also have a market. A market is M, the key M for me. When you play team games with your friends, more players in the game, it's really important to have markets for multiple purposes. The first and biggest one would be to get trade, I believe. Trade is when you have one market here and one market here, for example, and you make in this building you can make something called a trade cart, would it be in English? Yeah, a trade cart. It costs wood and gold. I'm gonna make one here. I used the T hotkey, of course, to make one. And the way you do it is, I'm gonna see if this works or not. I think you have to have an ally, another player. So basically, you have this market up here. You right click on this down here. Just gonna see if it works or not. Okay. But it won't work like this. But ideally, you right click on your allies market, and it's gonna collect gold from this market and send it back to this one, so you get gold income in the late games. But there's also another functionality to the markets. When you play a normal game, when you have shadows, well, it won't be like you have much more dark shadows in a normal game. When you build a market in team games, this only applies to team games with your allies or friends. When you make a market, you can weave the minimap of your allied players as well. It's called Cartography, and you can weave all of your friends and allies' bases and what they are doing. That's really important. So we're gonna put this back up. Blacksmith, army upgrades, hotkey equals that will be S for me. Yeah, S. Then we have a market for cartography minimap, trade, sell and buy, and something else called sling. We will look at all of these. The first one I already explained. It was cartography. If you have an ally, you can weave his map when you make a market. Remember, you need to be in feudal age before you can make a market. It's this age. That's the first age. You need to be in this age to make a market. You have to trade. When you trade to your allies' market, you can get gold back with the trade card. Sell and buy, you can see down here on these resources. So you need to read what it says. It's really important. This one is to sell. The upper, let's call it a bar, upper line is to sell resources, and then the lower one is to buy. You can see it says buy down here as well. And basically you sell all resources for gold. So if I were to sell wood now, I can sell 41 wood for... Sorry, I can sell 100 wood for 41 gold. It's always 100 each when you sell and when you buy. So you can see my gold increases and my wood decreases. And when you sell for a while, the prices will just increase. And it will be much harder to get the resources you want. You can see I'm selling stone and getting more gold. There's also another way you can sell and buy. It's again when sell and buy different ways. So the first way you can do it is when you can do presses. You can just press. We have hotkeys for this as well, but I always press here. I don't use the hotkeys here actually, I have to admit, because if I press on something wrong, I'm just gonna panic. And that can cost me the game. So I always just press here. And the way you can do it, you can do presses. When you press, you sell one at the time. That means one at the time. One purchase at the time. That means if I press, I will sell 100 food for 14 gold just once. Okay, just once. But if I hold in the shift key again, I taught you this here in this upper part. When you hold in the shift key, how many was that again? Do you remember? It was 5. So that means if I were to hold in the shift key while selling, I would sell 500 food for 14 times 5. I'm not going to do the math, but you know it. You know what I'm talking about. So if I were to hold in the shift key, you can see the resources is just going much faster. You can see that. And it's really important in the late games. When you need gold, you can sell the resources. You hold in the shift key. The same here for the buy, same thing applies. I'm gonna buy 500 food for 5 times 26. And you can see my food is going up by 500 now at the top here. And this also will inflate and change the prices. You see this? But you need to be fast. You need to be fast if you want to sell for a good price again. That's really important. And the last thing we wanted to talk about was the sling. Hold shift key to buy or sell 5x amount of resource. I think that's really common and understandable. Okay, and the last thing we wanted to talk about was sling. Sling is like a term or a word that the community came up with years ago. And when you sling, this only applies to team games. You can't do it in a 1v1, only with your friends or with random players on your team. Slinging is slinging is when you give resources to an ally. We don't have an ally right now, but I have a hotkey to get to it. It's this key here. I think it is diplomacy. Yeah, it is this key here, diplomacy. I can't do it right now because it's not in a team game. And you give resources to an ally. And the way you do it is, hotkey is for me Alt plus D. Alt is the key next to Control. You need to hold in the Alt key and then you press the D button. You get to diplomacy. Before I move on, I'm just gonna go to the hotkeys in the options again, show you guys. Hotkeys, move the text document. It's gonna be maybe here on game commands, I believe. And it's gonna be diplomacy. This hotkey. You can change it to anything you want. I have it as Alt plus D. And when you are in here, you can send resources to ally, food, wood, gold and stone. All of them will be available here. And the same thing applies here as well. Send 100 resources with presses. So if you want to send your ally like 100 of one resource, you just press on it once. If you don't have, say for example, if we had 60 stone, you would send the 60 stone when you pressed on it. It's not going to send 100 then. You can send anything as long as you have a resource of that type available. If you only have one food, you can send it. And again, we have the shift key comes into play here. Shift key sends 500 resources. 5x amount. So if I wanted to send my ally 10,000 food, I would have to press on I would have to press on the 100 resources button like 100 times. Maybe even 1,000 times. I'm really tired, I can't do math right now. Sorry guys. But if you hold in the shift key, you can send 500 each time and it's gonna go much faster. And slinging is when you like boost ally economy, makes him strong. And that's slinging, and you need a market to do it. I think I've covered market now. It is for cartography, minimap, trade, sell and buy, and sling. That's really good. Moving on. On Deathmatch we only have one relic each, but I'm gonna show you the best way to pick up relics. To pick up the relic, one relic gives you a trickle of 1 gold per second. And to get the relic you need to be in Castle Age, and you need to make a monastery where you make monks. I'm gonna do that right now. I have the hotkey Y. Sorry. I think it's Y or I. Yeah. Sorry if my English isn't pronouncing it correct. You make a monastery with the Y button. I button. Make a monk inside of it, and there is many different ways you can pick up the relic. I'm just gonna show you the easiest way. Make a monk, make a house to support the population. Okay, we have a monk here, and the monk, with the monk, you can just right click on the relic and it's gonna go and pick it up. So here's the easiest way to do it. Usually you have to, if you don't know about it, you have to walk over to it first. Let's just follow him. He picks it up, and when he picks it up, you need to remember he's like very vulnerable. He's not gonna convert, he's not gonna attack anyone, he's gonna be really exposed. When he picks it up, you can send it back to the building like so, and when he does that, he will put the relic inside of the monastery and you will get 1 gold per second. Like so. You can see we get gold now. But the way you do it, pick it up. I'm just gonna place it over here again. Like so. Go back. Move that. Relics. Make monastery. But I think it's with an A, isn't it? Yeah, it's with an A. And a monk. Collect relic for gold. Best way to do it. Here's when the shift key comes into play again. Remember, with the shift key you can make waypoints, and he's gonna travel all of these waypoints now when you release it with a right click. The way you do it, have the monk selected, shift key on the relic waypoint, and then shift key back at the monastery. Release. He's gonna go pick up the relic. He's gonna place it inside of the building, a multiple command, and then he's gonna move over here. That's the best way to do it. And also, since this is Deathmatch, sorry, I have a lot of things to think about. In Deathmatch you only have one relic each. I actually had two. Okay, I have two. Okay, I have two actually. Then I can show you the other example. Let's do that again. Speed it up a little bit. Disable the speed code. So when you have multiple relics in your view of the minimap, you can see I have two here. You do this, hold in the shift key, hold the shift key right click on a relic, shift key back at the monastery, shift click to the next relic, and shift key back to the monastery again, and then you release it. This way he will pick up the first one, return with it, go and pick up the next one, and then return to the base with that one as well. And that will give us two relics with a short amount of effort. Instead of right clicking, putting it back, right click and right click again. That's a far bigger string of command. So that's how you pick up relics. And remember to protect the monk if you can. Don't send it unprotected into territories, you know. Keep it protected if you can. That's the first one. He's gonna go pick up the next one, and then he's gonna stand right there. His job is done after that. Hold shift key, right click on relic, then shift, sorry, right click on relic, then right click back to monastery. Repeat. I hope that's a good example. You hold the shift key, right click on the relic like so, back to the monastery, and then right click on the next one, and then back to the monastery, and then you let go. That's the best way to pick up relics. You could also do this, but this is much harder. You can put in a control group on it, right click on a relic, and then when it picked up the relic, you need to remember it or hear the sound effect when it does it. Then go back to the monk and then right click again to the monastery. But with the shift command, it's much easier to do it. That's the relics covered. We're gonna talk about traps in this next part, and we'll use some cheat codes for this, just to speed things up a little bit. You don't need to worry about what I'm about to do. I'm just gonna make a castle on his island, and then I'm gonna show you how to do traps. I'm gonna do a little bit of experimentation with them as well, just to check what is best. can see he made a castle over here. That's perfect. We can use that as the test. Actually 2 castles. Great. Just to make a castle over here. Like so. Let's make multiple castles as well. One here and maybe one over here. He's gonna attack us, guys, because it's deathmatch after all. But yeah, just have them ready over here. Let's make a few trap. That's a good amount. Okay, so let's go and kill the siege. Like so. Okay, so the way you want to do it is when you first attack with traps, this is siege, you want to right click on the target the first time. Don't set a shift waypoint mark on it, because that's not going to work, I think. Actually it works, but it works for some of them. You see they are glitching out, some of them. It's only 2 of them working. So never, when working with traps, this is my big advice. Always right click target first time. And the reason why you need to do it the first time and not the next time is because you want to get them unpacked like they are now. Or packed. Maybe it's called packed. This is the unpacked, right? Pack. Oh, maybe they are unpacked. I need to work on my English a little bit. Okay, they are packed now. And when they are packed, they are ready basically. And the way you want to do it, when they are like in this animation, in this stance, ready to go, you just hold in the shift key, and then you right click to choose to go to the next target. But we need a little bit more army to protect the trap. Maybe this will do. So again, they are unpacked now, so we need to find a new target. Let's do that. We have the speed code on, so normally I can show you. Normally it just look like this, right? Takes a while to boot the map. Let's go with that. Let's not go with the speed code. You see, that's the first building. Okay, now I want to take down this town center. Okay, they are in range. Good, good. Yeah, they are good in range. Okay, let's take down the castle then. Just hold in the shift key and then you right click. They will unpack. And I will position closer to the castle. And then I will shoot the castle. I need some defense again. And that's the way I do it. I'm just gonna go back here. When working with traps, always right click target first time. When packed, ready, you can shift plus right click to send them to the next target, like that. Let's see if I can show you guys the difference as well, hopefully, if there is any difference. But I usually just use the shift when I want to attack. Have these guys go idle for a little bit. If you if I want to attack this monastery right now, they will do it. You have to watch the unpack animation, of course. But I find it just much easier to hold in the shift key, like so. Shift key, and then you attack. Yeah. Okay. There's something else we need to talk about, and that is the patrol key. It is this one, patrol. The way they do it is if they find anything inside of this area, or say if they come, let's just delete the castles. They move back and forth, and when they get into I'm not too happy about this, so I'm just gonna quit. And let's do another example. I think yeah. So let me just tell this one more time. When you're working with traps, always right click. That's the thing you need to do. And after that you can choose between shift or just right clicking. Let me put that up. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I wanted. That's much better, much more cleaner. Okay. You're gonna make a ram train right now. This is what we want to do right here. Japanese, they don't have siege ram, but this should be good enough. And there is a way that you can use ramps. Ramps and siege and bombard cannons are like the best siege in the game. You also can make onagers to shoot down buildings, but in this example we're just gonna make ramps. Gonna make a lot of ramps. You won't be having this many ramps anytime soon when you play, but this is just to show how to make good use of the ramps and how to break down as many buildings as you can in one go. The thing that you need to look at when you make ramps is that they will always spawn in the defensive stance. If you put the ramps over in aggressive stance, sorry, put this away, put them over in aggressive stance, like so, they will attack absolutely any building they can see instead of being in the defense stance. And the next thing you need to do, again, use the patrol, but when you have the patrol key enable, you hold in the shift key so you can place like multiple areas for them to patrol. And when you use the patrol, you can break down much more of the enemy base, and this is the showcase here. I'm just gonna move the ramps closer. After this example, we are going to quit Deathmatch with all of the resources. This is just to quickly get to what I want to show you guys. Quickly get to it. And then we are gonna look at something else afterwards. Okay, so we have the base here. We're just gonna move through all of the base with the ramps, like so. Gonna release it, Remember, they are on aggressive stance. And they will basically ram down anything they will see in the patrol path that I just used. They will move on. And this is much better than just right clicking on the buildings. Of course you must right click on the buildings on the specific target, say for example a castle, if you don't have a ramp train. This is only when you feel so confident and you have so many ramps that you can just ruin the enemy base. You can see the ramps, they will go different areas, they will just ruin absolutely everything they see in the path. And that's a good way to take down the enemy base. You can see even if there were something not important here, like the lumber camp, they're just gonna ruin that as well. Glitching out a little bit. Then you should just right click again. Keep an eye on the army, but it does the work, and it's gonna do huge damage instead of being on the defense stance. And yeah, that's a big tip here. Of course you need to support the ramps. You can't just send in the siege alone like I did here. You need to have units supporting the siege, but this is just to show that you can break down the enemy base really efficient, and it's a good way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna open the text document again. Siege can be, this is really important as well, siege except for onagers. Onagers is the only exception, at least for the siege that you want to attack with. Siege, except for onagers, can be patrolled. Patrolled. I hope that's the way you type that. I hope that's the way. Set multiple waypoints to break down enemy base. Put rams on aggressive. Is that the way you type that? I need to make sure. Yes, it is very, very good. Aggressive stance. Okay, that's really good. Sorry. Let's go back to Arabia and back to normal resources. That should be it. Okay, so this is a new trick that was introduced to DE, I believe, and it's one of the best new things that were to happen to this game, and that is the multiple command. Multiple command. And the way that works, I'm gonna do a normal start here. I use shift key to make more villagers. When holding shift key you can make 5 units, remember. Place it on the sheep. And we're gonna give these villagers underneath this town center multiple commands. I'm gonna show you the best way to use it as well. Okay, so when this woman is finished with the sheep, I'm gonna place the house, go back to the sheep, hold in the shift key the sheep, then shift key the house, then shift key the next sheep. Okay, so you can use this. Only applies to workers, by the way, at the most part. You don't want to use it on military units because they're just gonna walk around. It's much better to use it on workers. So this woman will finish eating the sheep, build the house, and then go to the next sheep. This is the woman. She will build the house and then she will go to the next sheep. And the way you do it is use shift key waypoint and then put it on next command resource. She will go to the next sheep, but we are not going to worry about that. The best thing that this command is useful for, and this is like the main thing, it saves you a lot of time and you can click up much faster. Lure the boar like a standard. You can even you can do walk under the town center, or you can garrison. I'm gonna go with the garrison because that's what I usually do. Like so. Okay. And the main part here is sheep and boar. In this case it's a rhino. Are different animal groups. This means when boar expires, you need another sheep. Let me try to explain this as the best I can. When these villagers work on the boar, rhino in this case, they will just work on it until it's finished, expired, and when it's expired they will just stand there and not do anything. They will be out of work. And the way you do it is you have all of the villagers, have a bubble ready, put them in a control group if you can. That's the way I do it. Have them all selected, all 10 of them. Right click on the rhino with shift and right click on the rhino to get the waypoint flag, and then you shift and right click on the sheep. The circle is an indicator that it worked. Then you just release it and they will go from the boar directly over to the sheep without you having to worry about anything. Let me do another example here. Let's take the other. This is an elephant in this case. And this is so important, especially at higher levels. And this is why I'm showing you this right now, because it's really helpful and good for you at the lower level as well. Workers on sheep will walk to the next sheep, and this is something maybe you have noticed, that if you have many sheep, they will just walk to the next sheep with no problem at all. But that's not the same thing with an boar or an elephant. You can see they walk to the next sheep, but Maybe they didn't because I gave them a special command earlier, but usually they do. Okay, I wanted to save that villager, but yeah, this elephant is just ruining my village right now. It's fine. And this is a perfect example. You have an elephant. Let's make speed code. Sorry. Yeah, that's fine. That's completely fine. I used the speed code and they ate the elephant, okay? The elephant is now gone. I did a speed code. And you can see they are now out of work. They didn't go to the sheep. They didn't do anything. But if you have a multiple command, you can put them to the next sheep. That's really important. Also, say for example, if we have a wood line down here. Wait for them to make the wood line like that. We can disable the speed code now. And I need to make a house. And then I want to go in the wood. House. Make the house. Shift right click and then shift right click on the resource. She's gonna make the house. She's gonna go to the wood. She's gonna shop that specific tree that I selected. And when that tree is gone, she's gonna continue in the forest with no problem. Like so. And that's how you do a multiple command. You can also do, like, say, if I want to sneak a barracks up here, I can do waypoint there, waypoint here, waypoint there, waypoint there, and then I can just make him to tell him to go over there, and he's gonna go in that specific waypoint I did right here. He's gonna make the barracks as the sneak, and he's gonna move to this corner. Yeah, definitely something huge introduced in the DE, in the Definite Edition of this game. You cannot do this in the HD and like in the old versions of this game. That's not implemented. So yeah, really important to remember to do that. Especially the transfer from sheep to boar. Let's see if I can type it in here. Different animal groups. When boar, you need other sheep. Workers and sheep will walk to the next sheep. Put multiple command on boar to sheep before it is finished. Hopefully you understood or understand what I meant by that. You go from the boar to the sheep. Maybe I can just show it one more time to have it visualized for you guys here, so you can see it for yourself. I'm gonna use the speed code just to speed things up a little bit. Okay, we have a lot of villagers now. Okay, I'm gonna disable the speed code. Disable the speed code. Put them in a control group. Have them ready. Walk back home. Shoot the boar. Jump inside. Have a sheep ready here. Put all of them in a... Have all of them selected like this. Shift key and shift key on the sheep, then let go. Okay, I'm gonna really fast use the speed code, like so. Disable it again. They are done with the boar, in this case rhino. They're gonna go to the sheep. See that? We actually have too many villagers on food right now. You can see the space is not enough. So she's gonna go to the next sheeps. But I think they might. Okay, this one didn't do anything, but maybe because of there was not enough space, she did something. And when this expires, I hope I hope they will go to the next sheeps. If not, you have to select all of them again, right click on the sheep, and then they will continue. Let's see what they do. Okay, they will not do it. Just a moment, guys. Okay. Let's try that one more time. I think I need to do something else with the command to make it better. And we will explore the thing we need to do to make it better. To make it better, yes. Okay, let's just have them, all of them ready. Like so. Let's use this sheep. Actually, sorry guys, we need to restart it. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try that one more time. Gonna speed things up a little bit. The way we want it to work is that you take the boar, in this case it's an African animal, you go to the next sheep, and after they are done with the next sheep, they will just continue the cycle with taking the sheep. That's what we want to do. Of course, you need to have a build order. You need to have a build order, and you need to have a good start. This is just an example, nothing else. Jump inside. Okay, I'm not sure what even happened there. Maybe I shot the rhino and it died, but let's just go for the next one then. It's fine. We only need one here anyway for this example. Or they ate the rhino really fast with the speed code on. Let's disable it. Like so. Okay, so shift click the next sheep, and then try to select it one more time. So you need to double click the sheep, double select it afterwards. Let's see if that works. Okay, I'm gonna really fast put on the speed code. They are done with the boar, the elephant. Kill. I'm gonna see if it works. Okay, disable the speed code. Like so. Have the next sheep over here. Let's see if it works. Yeah, now it works. Okay. So you need to double select the sheep at the end. I will put that in the text document. And in theory, if I place the next sheep here now, they should take it. Disable the speed code. Next sheep. Yeah, okay, it works. It works. Really good. Yeah. The multiple command. Use shift key. I can see if I can have this open at the same time. Yeah. Next command, resource. Different animal groups. You need another sheep. Yeah. Will work to the next sheep. We have already confirmed that. They will do that always. Put multiple command on board to sheep before it finish. Wait to do it. Shift key board into shift key sheep. Finish by right click on sheep again. 2x in total. Yeah, that's the way you do that. And use multiple command when building houses, for example. and we already show you this. Make the house first, shift right click, and then shift right click to the resource you want to go to, like so. And she's gonna shop that tree. Yeah. And this way, because if you were to make a house the normal way, the villager will go idle. See that? They are idle after making the house. But by making a multiple command, you can tell it to do something else. Okay, and that's that example. We're gonna take a look at military right now, guys. Let's do lumberjack, and let's do some resource sheets here. Okay, so you have different ways to control your army. This is not something you will do in a ranked or multiplayer game, but this is just to showcase. This is a basic army we have here, and there's some ways you can take a fight. You can either right click on the selected target that you want to attack, or you can use patrol. Patrol is this key, remember, the first one. And I have this C hotkey. Let's go to new line. Military hotkeys. Patrol is the most common used and the easiest to remember. If you have multiple targets like here, you can just put on patrol. And I patrol right in front of me, so they will go back and forth here, and they will attack absolutely anything they see, included buildings and units. First they attack the building, they see a unit close to the building, they will attack the unit first now. You have to be careful, you need to not run into the enemy town center, of course, take damage. You want to have some eye and overview of what you're doing, but the easiest way to take a fight is just to use the patrol when you see units, of course. You don't use patrol when you see only buildings, like here in this small area, for example. Then you right click the building, of course, destroy it. If you see multiple targets, like this wood line, for example, this forest, then you can use patrol, because they will just kill absolutely everything they see in here now. Like so, you don't have to worry about right clicking. You see, they kill absolutely everything. But you need to keep an eye on the military at all times, even when you patrol. But patrol is the easiest way to use kill, okay? You use the patrol key to do that. But remember that you need to move the units away after the patrol, because if you patrol in an area, you use the shift key, by the way, to make a multiple patrol command. Else you can just click and they will just go to that one area once, and you can make a multiple patrol command if you want to. But that's the easiest way to do it. Really useful. There's something else I want to point out, is that yeah, let's use the army to do that. This takes a little bit of training to get used to. I will see if I can do it here. Let's see. Okay, this is fine. you use the scout, this guy, to do it normally, but we can do it right here now. So the way you do it is you block units. You run in front of them, you block them, and that way they don't get to run away. And you see, I'm trying to block this villager. He can't pass through here now because I blocked the pathing. So that's really good. You put the scout. Let's see if I can show it. If I walk really far with this villager, you do. You see that? In front of the villager. This way you can block with one and you can attack with the other group. Okay? And there's also something that Hera is one of the top streamers. He showed this in a YouTube video some days ago. And that is how do you run away and get away from someone that wants to block you. And it's really just a clicking competition, a clicking contest. The guy will click to do this, right, to block, and then if you want to run to the town center, you just need to click as fast as you can, really fast. Click all the way the fastest you can, and that way it will be much harder for the scout to stop the villager and you can run away. That's blocking. Path blocking, we can call it path blocking. It's really high level. You don't need to worry about it if you are new to the game, but try to maybe do it once for fun, see how it goes. Yeah, that's path blocking. The next thing you want to look at is the stances down here. First off, we have I'm gonna move the text document a little bit. The no attack stance. When you have this on, the units will never attack. So you can, this is just a bot, an AI, and he's not gonna do anything unless you attack him. But you can see when you have the units here, they will never attack, and the AI thinks everything is okay. The next one is stand ground. They're gonna attack when you put this on, of course. But the thing about this is stand ground. And stand ground is let's pretend and imagine this is an enemy army. He's gonna stand right here. We're gonna fight this guy over here. He's gonna come to us. We fight him here. We win. He's gonna run. When you have stand ground now, the units you have won't chase. I think at least. So they will just stand around here. They will not chase the enemy when they run away. We can try to see what happens if we do this. If they will chase or not. You see? They will not chase. We can try again. No, they will not chase. Even if you stand, maybe they will attack. No. They won't even attack most of the time. Even if you stand right close to the house. But the way you do it, you put them on stand ground, you do patrol like this, and then you wait for the enemy to run into you. So if the enemy comes right here, you take the fight. They're not going to chase, they're just going to stand in this area here. And the next one will be defensive stance. The way that works, it's really good for spearmen in the feudal age. You make spearmen. Spearmen, they counter horses, cavalry. So for example, if I were chopping wood over here, I have a spearman here. I don't even have to patrol it. And when you have it in defense stance, he will chase. He will chase the enemy when they come next to him or to this area. Say for example the scouts, and he will chase them around a lot, and then he will actually return. to the same place that he stood before. And that's really good when you defend your resources with spearmen. And the last one is the aggressive stance, which is, as the name applies, they will absolutely just wreck and destroy everything they see. Even if I were to put them right here and forget about them, they will just completely go crazy and attack everything they see. If you like that, that's fine, but you need to keep an eye on your units at all times when you have the aggressive stance on, because as you can see, they're just gonna go crazy basically. And you need to keep an eye on them because they're gonna die. I do like to use the stand ground and have a little bit of control and overview of what you're doing. And when I see someone that wants to attack me and wants to take a fight, I switch over to aggressive stance and then I do the patrol. And now they're just gonna go crazy. And when I'm done, I'm just gonna move away. I'm just gonna go back to stand ground again. That's how I do fights. Because now, if they were to chase me over here again, they won't be like running all the way down here again, chasing them again if they were to run. They will just stand put over here and you can actually control your army much cleaner and easier. There's also something else. I can use a new militia as an example. If this villager wants to go forward and wall, like this, you have a guard hotkey over here. I use X for it. Press when you press it, a shield pops up. Press the shield on the villager. You can do it with the scout as well if you want to. And now both of these units will protect the villager that's walling. So, for example, if a wolf, I think it's lions on this map, crocodiles actually, crocodiles in the desert. That makes sense. If there was a crocodile or an enemy scout or like a army out here, these units will protect the villager when it's making the wall. And it's only military units that can use the guard. You cannot use the guard to guard another villager, for example. That won't work. You can also have follow. Follow is this key. And it will just follow the unit. I don't know. Let's try to check if he will actually protect the villager or not. We have a guard with the militia, remember? So let's see. I haven't tested this actually in years. So let's see if the crocodile will... Let's do loom as well, so it will survive much longer. Let's see if the militia protects it with the follow. I know that the scout will protect it with the follow. I know that the militia will do it because he has the guard. He has the guard mode on. But let's see if the follow button works. Okay, the crocodile will attack me. You can see the militia will go and attack it, but the scout, he's just following me, so he won't actually do anything. So the guard is much better to use when you want to protect villagers. I can see if I can put the follow on this guy here. Yeah, it works with long range distance, so you can make him go to this place. But again, you can just right click over here. So yeah, it's not that useful after all, maybe. But the guard command, really good when you want to make walls. This hand is when you are in motion. You can just tell it to stop. I use the S hotkey. Patrol, guard, patrol equals, I think it's C for me, yeah. Guard equals X when walling. When walling with the villager. They will follow, and you can also guard another military unit if you want to. You have aggressive stance, which will be equal A for me. You have defensive stance, which is I think it's D. Yeah, it's D. You have stand ground stance, which is N for me. It's N. And you have no attack. And no attack can be useful if you want to put it on auto scout, for example. If you want to explore all the map and he won't go and attack any units or buildings, you can put it on that auto scout and he will actually go and explore the map for you. What else? Well, you also have the garrison, but this only applies to at least in the first stage of the game. You can only use it with the villagers, eagle warrior and militia in the Dark Age. You can put horses. Horses can be put into castles. When you get to Castle Age, you can put them inside of a castle. But you can't put horses inside of the town center, sadly. And you can't put them inside of towers. But you can do it with archers and with melee units. That works. What else do we need to talk about? Maybe quick walling. You can look a little bit at quick walling. I don't have the best hotkey for this, but I'll show you what I can do. I need some resources, so I'm gonna do a resource cheat code. The way you do it, that's actually a horrible wood line. This one is much better. Let's make a house. Multiple command, make the house, then go to the wood camp. And the way you want to do it, this is gonna maybe look and sound a little bit strange, but this is the best way to do it. Okay, we have the villagers. Say for example the enemy guy, he will drush. Drush is when you make 3 militia, these guys again, at the Dark Age. And he's gonna come here with 3 militia and he's gonna attack you, okay? So I press B only to get into the menu, because walling is actually in the military section. It's P for me. But I only press B to get into the menu. Press P, hold in the shift key, do this, select, and then you hold in the shift key to make multiple buildings again. Then you right click to start the building. But after you right click and start the building again, you want to put shift flags again and then back to the resource again. Because this is another example. If you only make the walls like this, they will go idle, right? They will go idle. And you don't want to have idle time. You can see it's idle. So the way you do it is just quickly place them, right click again, shift click, and then back to the resource again, like that. And it's really, it can be really rough and tough for some people to do it, but you need to get used to it. Like so, and back again. To put it out of the idle mode. And sometimes it can be really stressful, and you panic all over the place, and you get a lot of idle villagers, but you need to do it this way. Again, I can show it, and back again to wood. Okay? And by the way, this is really high advanced level. I don't expect you to know this like in the first month or so, maybe even 2 months into the game, but you need to do it that way. Hold in the shift key, really important to make multiple walls if you want to. You can also drag the walls if you need to. Like I can delete all of this, and then we can maybe do this and like this. I don't know, something like this, but keep an eye on it, and when it gets to the last part, it's just like so. Go back to normal again. Remember the shift click, and then don't let it be idle. Okay, that's the most important thing about it. You don't want idle time when you quick walling. Next point. This is not. This is a custom hotkey for me. I know the game don't use this hotkey like normally. I have the palisade gate at C. So I just press C, and I can press get palisade gate anywhere I want. You guys have to enable that hotkey. Let me remove the text document. It should be on the villager build. Here, villager build. You go down and you find the palisade gate. Also, you have the palisade wall here. I use C to make a palisade gate. You can use any key you want, but I prefer to use C. C and then P to make the walls I want to make. Like so. When you get to village, you also have stone walls. It would be W for me to make a stone wall. And then I use actually caps lock. I have caps lock as the stone wall key. Maybe I can show you guys a little bit of that as well. Okay, so we have a W to make stone walls, and then caps lock to make a stone gate, like so. Again, let me just do another example down here. This time I can use stone walls, like so. Say that's the gap. You want to have shift flags on the walls, and then go back to the resource when you're done to skip the idle time, right? And that's how you quick wall. I didn't shift flag here, shift multiple command, so she's gonna go idle. Like that's the what most of the time you will see this happening if you don't do the multiple command. If you watch Viper and Hera, they will always do the multiple command, no matter what. Like they do this all the time. But again, that's really high level. I don't expect you to learn that in your first playthroughs, but you need to know about it, that it exists. Okay, what else to cover? Did I cover the most? Quick walling. So hotkey for palisade wall equals P. Sorry. And my hotkey for palisade gate equals C. That's my own custom one. I use C for the palisade gates. Stone wall hotkey equals W. I think that's the standard one. Same with the palisade wall. And the stone gate, my stone gate hotkey equals caps lock. Before I move on, I have two hotkeys with the caps lock. I have, of course, I have the stone gate, and then I have in the town center, I have it for the way banner waypoint. To select the boar and select the deer. Where is the deer? There in the front. Okay, so that's what I use caps lock for. When quick walling is just about really practice and timing. You need to be fast to do it right, and the shift key is really helpful here. Next we can look at go to buildings. This is going to be the next thing. We already know that the H key takes us to the town center, right? Yes, that's the first thing you need to learn. Next up, we have the resource buildings. We have a mining camp as well. Let's just make a mining camp. And earlier I told you guys, it's somewhere here. Here, lumber camp, wood forest. The hotkey for that is C, and for mill it's I, and for the mining camp it's G, right? So I can just press those keys to make buildings. There's a way that you can go to the buildings like this. You see it on the screen right now. And that's only to make the upgrades and to like make you want to have infinite farms. And the way you do that, you have the hotkey I, G and C right there. Let's go right corner, scroll, options again, into the hotkeys. Let's remove the text document. And you have, I believe it's cycle command. Yeah, it is cycle command. You can see go to archery range, go to absolutely every building in the game, right? The way I do it, I use Control and the same hotkey to build the building. So it's going to be Control C, Control I, and Control G. Control C, make the wood upgrade. Control I, make the mill upgrade. Control G, make the stone and gold upgrades. And also it's a nice way to check if a wood line is going to get far. If they have worked good on the forest, you can make a new lumber camp. It's a good way to check. And it's also good to check if your berries are gone, for example, if they have been removed. Moving on, you can also like make a market, and it's going to be Control plus M to go to the market, and I can buy myself up. I bought some gold now, so I can buy myself up. Really useful. And if you can remember, try to go to the buildings instead of clicking on them and you get up. It saves you a lot of time. I'm gonna put the same thing here. Go to building H equals town center, TC, lumber camp, Control plus C, sorry guys, like that. Mill equals Control plus I, and mining camp equals control plus G. A market is control plus M, because I have the hotkey M to make the market. Okay. We need to look at appending groups, and we need to look at like making stacks of military buildings. That's also something we need to look at. Okay, let's look at appending first. I'm gonna make an archer example. I think that would be the best thing to do here. Let's enable the speed code. Make a lot of archers. Okay, we have 13 over here. Okay, so we're gonna have 13 archers over here. And then we're gonna have, I use control groups, of course. Let's put those at 2 and these at 4, okay? And these are 2 separate groups. They don't have any connection at all. They don't know each other, to put it that way. So the way you do it is, let's also make Blacksmith down here. Blacksmith is control plus S. Appending numbers to a control group. Okay, we have archers in control group 2 and 4. The way you do it is use the shift key again. You pick and select one of the groups, the one that you want to append to add more units to. In this case, I'm going to use the control group 2, the forward one. You hold in the shift key and then you click the number 4. Because number 4, just hold on a second, guys. I'm just going to do something here. Makes it a little bit easier for you. So you can see down here now, I have at 2, I have the first control group. At 4, I have the second one, okay? I'm gonna select the 2 because that's the one I want to have, the one I want to add to. It's one in the front. Hold in the shift key and then you click 4. Now you have selected both the groups and then you click shift 2, you click control 2 again to apply them to the control group 2. And this way I have added these into that group. We can meet up now. Just gonna right click here. Both the groups will go to the same location. And now I have appended to that that group. Okay. And also say if I want to do split up, if I want to do this, we can do this and we can assign them together again, okay? Like so. That's control group shift appending, I think it's called. Group commands. Append group. Also, on my main account, I have an ungroup, just in case if I want to get rid of a group. I use the 0 number for that. Control not 0. Yes, confirm. And that is if I want to abandon a group. Should work, right? No, it doesn't work. There's something else I need to do, I believe. Group. It's probably because of this one. Just clear selected, and now it should work. Yeah, now it works. So now they don't exist anymore. They are not a group. That is if you want to like remove groups. I have it on my main account. I use it in some cases where I don't want to have it in a group anymore. I just remove it from the group, and that also works. And this way we can do some raiding, right? We can split them up, and when you are done, you can just resign them together, append them together again. Okay, so this is something you see in very many games. You have two stables, right? You produce scouts, you get to the castle age. You have two stables. You produce knights, like this. You have them in one group. I usually have, this is a big advice, I have all the military buildings in the control group 5. That's the number I use when I want to have military. Okay, I have two stables now, right? Let's build a third one, and let's focus on the knights. And now you know we have two stables. How do I add the third one while focusing on the knights? How do I do that? Again, let's go to Hotkeys. Let's go to, it's going to be cycle commands. Go to, let's find the stable. There it is. Control L. The way you do it, while you are focusing here, I press Control L, but that's only going to take me to one stable. You see that? That's going to cycle through the stables like so. And then you have the control group at 5 with both. So how do I select all of them? You need to Control Shift, hold in the Shift key, Control Shift both of them, then click the L button. You can see I select all 3 of the stables, assign them to a new control group 5. And now you have all of them. You can set the waypoint flag forward, and you can attack while focusing with your army. So if you want to select all of your military buildings, you need to hold in the Shift key as well. So if I want to do like a lot of stables, I have 3, holding Control Shift and L, select all of them. You can see those haven't been made yet, but they are going to get made. And then you can just spam the knight hotkey to make knights. I ran out of gold. Let's just make some. This is a fun game, and you can see. But the way it is, you can see when I press the N key, it's just going to produce from the first stable, like so. At most cases it will. And again, maybe sometimes you need to do like this. And set a new waypoint. You can see it's just going to be this one, right? And maybe some from those down here. No, it's just going to be the first one up here when I press the N key. And that's when you press the Shift key. Hold in the Shift key. We need a little bit more houses. Sorry guys. Because when you hold in the Shift key while making, remember a Shift key produces 5. You need to have the resources. It's going to produce from all of them. You see that? Instead of just pressing N, it's just going to produce from the first one. That's something you need to be aware of. You want to hold in the Shift key when you have production. And but then you can ask me, but wouldn't that make 5 units each time? And that's only if you can afford 5 units. It's only if you can afford it. If you can only afford, say, 2 units, it's just going to produce 2 units for you. And it's going to produce from both of the buildings at the same time, and not just the first one. Append the groups by holding Shift key and append groups by selecting first group you want to increase. Hold Shift key and say if this was the first group. By the way, you can only hold 60 units in one group. That's the max amount, the max number. Here's the second group. You can't append when you have this many units. You can't append to a group that already have 60 units. So the way you want to do it, if you want this group to append to this one, let's do that. Select the first one, hold Shift key and hold Shift key after selecting first one, then press next group. So you have the first one, hold the Shift key, press the second one, and then you're gonna select them all together again to the control group you want. Hold Shift key after selecting first one and then press next group to append / merge them together. Okay, remember max remember limit is 60 in each group, like so. They were on attack aggressive stance, so they of course ran forward. Okay, appending unit numbers to a controller. Appending military buildings, control group to 5 is what I use. And let's do that one more time. I have these two, that's standard in Castle Age, and I built, just gonna delete all of that. So we have 3 now, right? We have 3 stables, but I only have 2 selected. The way you do that is when making more buildings, use okay, Control plus L to go to a stable. Control L, you go to one stable at a time. When making more buildings, put in use Shift plus Ctrl plus L, and by doing that string you can do all of them and then assign them all to a new control group, 5 in my case, and you can increase the number as you go on. Okay, the next thing we're gonna look at is multiple building chain macro. Okay, this is only for late Imperial Age and maybe in Castle Age if you have multiple buildings, but only really for the late type of games. So you know we have 5 now in total. So I want to make some ranges, I want to make some barracks. Okay, so this is gonna be really tricky, guys, but you gotta bear with me. Select all of them in the same group, like so, and the way you produce from this is you hold in the shift key and say, for example, I want to make cavalry archers. You shift key, hold in the shift key, click on the archery ranges. I have all of them selected in the same group. Click on the archery ranges, and then you make units like this. Okay, go back again and you shift and you hold on the barracks, and then you click on that to make pikemen, for example. So get the pikemen upgrade as well. And the waypoint flag, the one I right click with now, they will actually waypoint all of these buildings to the same place. Okay, I made some camels now. I think they're in the queue. They got housed again. Yeah, and that's how you do it late game. You also put castles in the same area. So you have it like this. And then you hold the shift key. Why do you hold the shift key? If I were to just click on the archer range, you're just going to go to that one. That single one. You need to shift key to select all of them. And then you like put the units in production that you want to use. And again, you need to know the hotkeys for all of those. If you can. Same here. I know my hotkeys. Same in the castle. And same in the stable. And you also put, of course, siege in there as well. I need to make a market, maybe. Blacksmith. I think it's a blacksmith. Yeah. Okay, but HA, what if I only want to have stables in one group? Okay. Select all the stables, you put them in another group. Okay, so you put that at 6 or 7 or 9 or 8 or whatever, if you want to play it that way. But I have all of them in my group, like so, selected, and then I just shift to go to the military building I want to use. That's multiple chain macro. Yeah, you need to know about it, I think. If you want to play in Imperial Age, you need to know about this. And that's how you do that. Gonna restart it. Control group 5 buildings. Control plus shift plus control plus the key plus building key and append to control group 5. Use shift and click on a building icon to produce from it. And you can have up to, I think you can have up to 60 in total if you 60 buildings in total if you want. But you can have more, because you can have say for example you can have 5, you can have 6, you can have 7, you can have 8 on the control group, so you can have really over hundreds of buildings to make units if you want to. But that's, again, you need to look at the resources, and that's going to cost you a fortune. So yeah, will it be worth it to have like 200 buildings in production? I don't think so. You only need like an average amount, like I had back there, or a few more if you want more production, of course. Okay, we have looked at multiple chain command. We have looked at appending. What else should we look at? Maybe we can look at the zoom command and gate command. Zoom command and gate command. I don't know if this is, if the game comes with this or not. When I make a gate, I use the scrolling wheel on my mouse to change its, let's call it direction. And you can see I can put it anywhere I want to. Because earlier in the past you had to make a straight line and like so, and like maybe like this to make gates in the direction you want it, right? But right now you can make it in any direction because you have the gate command. Okay, go to the scroll again, go to option, hotkeys, let's move the text document. You want to go all the way down to gate commands, and you want to have the rotate hotkey. And for me it's going to be a wheel up and a wheel down. The scrolling wheel, if you have a scrolling wheel on your mouse. And you need to edit that. If the game doesn't already have that, you need to edit it. That's really important. Same thing applies to the stone gate. I can't build it right now because we're not in full age. Yeah, really important, I would say. The next thing is the zoom command. Is when like you want to zoom in or zoom out. Zoom a little bit, as you can see. Maybe the game already has the scrolling wheel attached to that instead of the gate command. What I did, I went to zoom commands at the bottom, and I used the control key in addition. And it's gonna look a little bit weird, but we have a double command here. I use control wheel up and control wheel down. This is the ones I use. You can also use the minus and plus keys, but I find that the scrolling wheel is much easier to do it with. Okay. Yeah, we can look at that. We have the delete. Use the delete key to delete buildings, right? But then you can just hold the shift key and then press on the buildings. Let's say if I did this, I need some resources. If I made a lot of unnecessary houses, okay, then you use the select all the houses like so, and then you hold the shift and delete. Shift and delete will delete scrolling wheel on mouse for gate rotation. Control plus scrolling wheel for zoom commands. And delete key equals del can do a huge delete with shift plus delete. If you play Arena is one of the maps here in AoE2, where you start with a stone wall base around your base, stone walls around your base, sorry guys. And if you have some walls in the back of your base that you don't want to have, You can just say if you have a wall like this that you don't want to have. You can hold in the shift key and delete, and you can delete all of it at once. Okay, the next thing we need to look at is camera movement. There is a key in here in Hotkeys. I think it is game commands. Yeah, return to previous view, this one. This is in Norwegian text, but it says backspace. It's the backspace button I have for this. So if I looked over here at the gold and stone, and then I looked back here, and then I went to do something else, and say for example if I forgot where those resources up here were, I can just press backspace, and it's gonna put me back to the previous area that I looked at. And you can see that took me back to the golden stone. And now I know where it is, and I can just go and make a mining camp over here, right? Like so. I already explained that I have the idle key. The idle key I have at I'm so sorry, I don't know what this key is called, but it's the key next to the one at your keyboard. Use that to cycle through idle villagers, and I have the shift with the same key to put flares, to put access on the map. Can show you here in the options, game commands, flare. Use the shift and that key to do flares. And there's a hotkey for pausing. This is really important, guys. Use backspace for previous weave. Pause hotkey, and this also is the same key in multiplayer if you were to play ranked, online, or with just your friends and you want to pause the game. Pause game hotkey. That's F3. F3 on the keyboard says the same thing here, and you pause the game. When you play online, you can do 10 pauses, I believe it is. You have 10 pauses available. Up here you have the timer. You can look at the time in game, and the hotkey for that is F11. Absolutely recommended to have the timer on. Timer. F10 from menu. F10 right next to the time hotkey. You have the main menu hotkey. So you can go to options and things like that. I'm just going to take a stroll. Take a look, I mean, at this. Yeah, you can weave the tech tree when going up to the next tree, next age. Sorry, guys. Next age. You can look at the technology tree, and the ones that are crossed out are unavailable. So you can take a look at what your sieve can do. Let's see if I have some other things I can show you guys. Yeah, in team games, you can also use it in 1v1s if you selected a color. You can use for friendly colors, use Alt plus G. So I went with yellow as my main color, but if you want to play with blue in 1v1s, you can use Alt plus key. And I have to use this in a team game because this is important for team games. I haven't even gotten to the mods part yet, guys, and I've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes only hotkeys, and then we're gonna look at some mods after this. It's gonna be a long stream, I think, like so. This is the friendly colors. This is a team game. We have 3 versus 3. And you can see we have different types of colors. I am teamed up with blue and green. And the enemies are red, purple, and teal, turquoise. Sorry. And the way in late games, when you have a lot of colors on your screen, and it's gonna splat colors everywhere, and it's gonna be different to see. You can use the friendly colors. The friendly colors will put you in blue, your team in yellow. Yellow are your teammates, allies, and all of the players that were enemies in the opponent's team will turn to red. And it's just gonna be much easier to see what's happening. You are in the blue, your team is in yellow, and the enemy is in red. I personally use that. If you want to have all the colors, that's fine. Just do what you want. But friendly colors is an option if you want to have a good overview, a good look at things. You can use that. I'm just gonna take a look here if I covered everything that's important. I have this hotkey here. This is a custom hotkey that I made. If you have a mouse with side buttons, buttons on the side of the mouse, you can assign extra buttons here on the hotkeys screen. And the way I did is let's put all of these villagers on food, on sheep. You can see right now I have 5 on food. And if I click my side button on my mouse, I go to another tab, and you can see I have 5 on shepherds. That's the same as 5 on food. And I can just go back and forth, and I can check how many resources I have on, how many workers I have on each resource. You can also click on this. I think it's 2 times. One, that's the military. I have one scout. One more time, and that's the same button again as I did here. So you need to click on it 2 times normally, and then one more time it gets you back to the scores. Here's the score. The age the players are in, the civ emblems like weapon shields, coat of arms, you can maybe call it. Yeah, and for flaring you use this button here, but I have shift plus that key again. I don't know the name of it. Much easier to just use it, and I can spam basically everywhere without clicking. Yeah. That's for signaling and telling your team something. Let's see. Did I cover everything? I think I did, right? Yeah, and this is just to select all the buildings. I already showed you this, so we're gonna ignore that. There is a key for selecting idle villagers that has already been explained, but there's also a key to select idle military. If I put him in a action, he's not going to be selectable unless you have a control group or you find him and you drag or click on him. But that for me is the tab. The tab hotkey. It's the key over caps lock. So if I were to stop him, not do anything about him, I can press tab and I can go directly to the idle military. There is also this one is really important, but I don't have a hotkey for it, I have to admit. Control Shift mellomrom. Okay, that's something I need to look at when I go back to my main account. You learn something new every day. Yeah, you can select all idle villagers, but again, I feel like it's so much easier to just do one at a time, because if you were to select all of them and do a command with it, it's most likely it's going to ruin your whole economy. If that were to happen. So just select one at one, or like the one that's standing right next to each other, and then do it that way, much easier with idle. The key for select idle, I think it's cycle, right? Yeah, it's cycle commands, and it's go to next military unit. I have tab, and I have used that key there for the idle villagers. Yeah. Okay. Notification, so you can, if I were to look over here, and I forgot to put this guy in a control group. Okay, so, okay, I want to go back to you again. You can put spacebar to go back to it. Same with the town center, but you already use the H hotkey, but much easier. This is to just go to the follow, make the camera follow. You see this? Camera is following. Yeah, you can see that. So that's your spacebar. Just go back to the unit again, or building, or whatever. Yeah, and then blue equals you, yellow equals a teammate, and red, yellow, yeah, and then red equals enemy. But I'm gonna do it like this. This is much easier to read. Yeah, that's much easier to read. That's the team colors. I have them on and off. You can see the difference. You have yeah, and then you can have go to unit or building equals spacebar. So if I were to look somewhere else, I can just press spacebar to get back to it. If you need to do that in a scenario. Yeah, and of course this is really important. If an enemy attacked the town center, you can right click to repair it again, or you can press R to repair it. You can see the repair hammer. And that is every building in the game. Just repair it if it's under attack, if you can. Repair equals R. That's a good one. Yeah, we already covered that. I think I'm done, I think, with the hotkeys. I've been talking about so much. I've been talking about all of this. I think that's good enough for this episode at least. Okay, we're gonna go over to mods. I'm gonna put in mods. Make it visible. Put it up here. Now you can see mods. Okay, let's talk about mods. We have covered a lot of hotkeys this episode, and I'm getting really tired. So yeah, let's just move over to something else. Here in the main menu of the game, you click this button. You go to mods. You can see I already installed small trees from the first episode. Okay, you go to browse mods to install mods, to find the mods that you like. And you can see number of downloads and likes and last update and created, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, so, and you also have this bar here that says any, and you can select like mods that you want to. It's like a list to make it easier for you. And official are the ones that's made by DE, the mods of this game. The developers of this game. I'm sorry, devs. And the first thing you want to do, let's go to sound. And it's gonna be this one. Yeah, this is the one. So for those who don't know, in DE you have new sound effects and you have new music, I believe, and everything is just new with the sounds. And if you loved the old sound effects like I did way back in the 90s, if you loved like is it a bell or something that rings when you get attacked, and all of those classic sound effects, definitely get original sounds. I'm gonna subscribe to that one. That's a huge recommendation for me. Get the original sounds if you like the old sound effects. Wait for this icon to finish. There we go, it's been installed. Also, it's not here, it's in music. This was sound, remember, this is music. In music you can have original music as well, if you want to have the old Age of Empires soundtrack. If you love to play with music on, me personally, I don't play with music on at all. I only have sound effects. But if you want the old music, go for this mod. And you can have different types of music. Yeah. Okay. The next one would be text. And this is the one that I personally use. Maybe it's user interface. Okay, I'm not sure where to find it, but type in huge number. And it's this one. You need to look back at my recording to see the difference, but this has to do with control numbers, control groups. And if the mod was installed correctly, I may have to close and reopen the game. Let's figure out. This is the one I use. I find it is just much easier to have control over your control groups. and look at the numbers. Okay, I need to restart again, but you can see this is number 1 for the first one. I need to restart the game. Let's do that right away. It's really small, right? So, no, not there. Let's go here then. Wait a second, guys. I'm sorry. Just taking a look at the Discord while we wait. And you saw that the control group number was so small and hard to read. You can also, I'm gonna explain this when I get inside of the game here. You can see the difference now. It's much bigger, so you know that it's number 1. And you can also see down here that it's number 1. But that down bar here, control group bar, you need to enable it by going to interface and control group icons. Without this on, it's just gonna be, you need to remember that this was number 1 if you don't have that on. Okay, let's put that back on, and you can see that it's so much easier to read the control group number. This is the one that I use. We need to go back to the mod menu, and we can look at the mods we already installed. We have Small Trees, Original Sounds. I do recommend that if you want that. A Huge Number, that's one of my favorites. Moving on, we have I think it's this one. You just go to this tab and it's going to be way up here in the top. Advanced Idle Pointer. And this will put an exclamation mark over your idle villagers. And again, it's just going to make it so much easier to look at. I also have this one, no more plants. This removes all the details on the terrain. Not like trees and bushes that have resources in them, but everything else that's just insignificant and it doesn't play any roles. It's just for scenery. No more plants. I have this one, and I have Advanced Idle Pointer. I may have to reopen the game again. Just bear with me, guys. Okay. And when I boot back up, we should have exclamation marks over the villagers. Yeah, but this is not the one that I use, because this exclamation marks are quite big. You can see it's so big. And they only are active when they stand still, when they are not doing anything. So if I want to take resources, they should never appear. Yeah, it's only when they're idle. But this, at least no more bushes, so the terrain is much more smoother now, cleaner to look at. No more scrubs, plants, cactuses, and things like that. So that mod there was definitely the one I had. But this one here, this one, advanced idle pointer. Yeah, it's not the one that I'm using. I'm gonna unsubscribe, get rid of that. Idle. I'll find the one that I'm using. Yeah, this is the one. Just type in idle, and it's gonna be the one at the second place here. Subscribe to that, because those idle pointers from the first one, it's so big. If you want to have those, it's fine. These ones are much better in my opinion. They're actually 68 megabytes in size. So that will take a while, but yeah, I absolutely recommend these over those other ones. Even though they are like many times more in size, these are the ones that I'm using. Huge number, that's my big recommendation here, and the original sounds. And absolutely the small trees, that's probably the most important one. Just hold on a minute, guys. I'm gonna check a list I have here on my Discord. Should be in here, and pinned messages. Okay. Huge number. Yeah, we can take a look at that. So here in DE, we have a new, let's call it sprites, new image of cliffs here in this game. If you love the old classic cliffs, there is a mod for classic cliffs. Cliff. It's this one, and you can get those brown, those brown cliffs back. I personally use this one. This is just optional. You don't have to use them. I use them because I want my game to look as close to the original game as it can. The one from the 90s. That's why I use the classic cliffs. Again, let's go back and into the game again. We have to close the game and open it again for the mods to take effect and work. Gonna get a little snack here, chocolate. Yeah, I think this is the one I use. Yeah. These are probably the ones that I use on my main account. And here we have the cliff. Another one over here. The new cliffs, they have like a grey, almost like grey or white appearance. I love these cliffs way more. It's just a minor thing. Nothing big, but if you want to have classic cliffs, you can have them. And it's just much easier to look at when you have idle villagers. Gonna go back. Let's see if I had another one of those idle. Okay, this one here. Okay, that's this one actually. Yeah, he just renamed it. So this is the one that I'm using. Okay, just a moment, guys. This one here is really good. I'm just gonna explain and show what this mod does. I have this mod on my main account. And when you pick Civ, you see all of these coat of arms, weapon shields. And when you are new to this game, you don't remember or recognize all of these symbols. So let's go with Vikings. You can see Vikings is really like it's looking similar to Britons and it's looking similar to Chinese. You can see the same icons over here. And down here when you play against the opponent. So I recognize Aztec. Let's see. So purple is going to be Aztecs. He's Aztecs. This Rurik guy, he's going to be... I hope that's Saracens or Slavs. It's one of those. Even I don't know. Slavs, okay. And then we have the last one. He's going to be... Ethiopians. Yeah, that's Ethiopians. I'm going to be Vikings. That's the one I choose. I have in the green, I have Mayans, just by looking at the weapon shields. And then I have blue. That's going to be Mongols, I believe. Yeah, that's Mongols. There's also another way you can tell, and that's going to diplomacy. No, not that one. Here, this one in chat, and you can see I have Vikings. I'm on the team with Mongols and Mayans against Slavs, Aztecs, and Ethiopians. There's a hotkey that is Alt and T for me. Alt plus T, and I can check the civs as well. But I never do this because I have a mod down here. And this is the mod I'm gonna showcase now. Because I don't want to remember those coat of arms and remember all the look of those like weapon shields. That's so much unnecessary work for me. So I have emblem. This is made by a good friend of mine called... Not this one. Not that one. It's this one. Text Civ. Crasini, I believe. I think it's made by Crasini at least. I might be wrong. Maybe he made this one. He made the UU emblems. Okay, I see. He made that one, but we're gonna look at text sieve because that's the one I'm using, and you can see all of those weapon shield gets replaced by the three first letters of the civilization you're playing against. That's the one I use. I really recommend this one. I'm gonna see if we need a restart or not. We might need a restart. Yeah. Ooh, really nice. Yeah, Holy Roman Viking, he's been practicing a lot. And even with us in team games, so he's getting better at the game. That's so nice to see. Wish him all the best in his future games. And you can see with the text sieve mod that I added right now, this is the one I use on my main account. It's gonna be much easier to read what civ you have, and are against. So Vic is short for Vikings. In the blue, my teammate, he's on the side here. We have Burm. That's gonna stand for Burmese. We have Per for Persians up here. In the bottom right, we have Tat for Tatars. May for Mayans. And Lit for Lithuanians. It's much easier to read the civs and know what you are up against and what you have. Really recommended to get that mod. I'm gonna show it one more time, and I will also post the full list, of course. This is the text civ emblems. I love that mod. I really do. Let's see if we have anything else to add. Huge number. Original sounds. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you guys this. This is just gonna be up to you if you want it or not. But we have already installed the small trees. If we go to trees, maybe we have one for terrain here. Maybe. Yeah, you can go to the terrain tab. You can have improved small trees. Bamboo only. I don't use any of these. I'm only using this one, but this is up to you if you want it or not. You can remove snow. Snow is the white terrain. It's really white if it blinds your eyes. You can go to official, and I think remove trees, of course. And you can install no snow mod if you don't like snow. Sorry. Let's go back to terrain again. Improve trees. We have bamboo only, of course. You have original looking farms. I don't personally use that one. You have yeah, a lot of mods in here. Lately, if you watched some of the top players on the stream, they use some kind of a pine tree mod. I'm going to showcase this one. Let's go to Annie again. Okay, just search for pine, and it's going to be this one. An_HK identical pine trees. This is the one that the top players are using right now. It will change absolutely every tree and forest in the game into a pine tree with a shadow. I don't like it that much, so I don't use it. I prefer to have my small trees so I can actually look what the map looks like, but only with a small version of the trees. So that's the search for pine, and you can get this one if you would love to have the same trees that the top players have. That's the one. You can also have he also made another one with the same type of mod, but only this time it's going to include all the forests with a shadow around it. But yeah, I'm not sold on that one yet, guys. I'm not picking that up. What else? Yeah, this one is really important. It has a lot of downloads. You can download this, and this is to help you guys. This gives you build orders and scenarios that you can play, and I will showcase how to enter and play those. And I also use, in addition, I use this fish borders mod. And this is when you have water and fish on the map. You can have rings around the fish, so it's much easier to pick up and locate the fish. Gonna install that one as well. Also, I need to take a look at this one before I install it, because I have that mod installed on my main account for the original resource icons. Okay, wood, food, gold and stone. I have to restart the game again when I'm done with this. I'm gonna take a last look in here and see if I missed out on anything. This menu here, you can also change the menu appearance. Like, go away from this. This menu will update each patch, each update the game comes out with, they will bring out a new menu here. But I really like the... Let's see, I hope I have a photo of it here. No, not here. Is it in here? No. Just a moment, guys. No. Is it in here then? Just a moment. Yeah, I found it. Okay, so this is the next step we will look at. Just give me a second. This is the main menu on DE. If you loved how the game looked back in the day, you have the... Here is the old menu. Many of you maybe remember it. This is how the old menu looked like. And you can install a new mod that makes it look like this. It's quite similar. Gonna go and do that now. Sorry, that's the wrong button. You type in auto and it's going to be this one. Gonna see if they have any okay, and that's the one that you want to get. I'm gonna restart the game again, and for reference it's gonna to look like this now, and that's the main menu that I use. We're gonna take a look at my mods installed, and I'm gonna talk you through what each of them do. And after that, I'm going to answer some questions, and then I'm going to end the stream. And when I get back into the game, it should show us the new menu. Skip the intro. Yeah, and here is the new menu. And I do like this one. Maybe it's a little bit dark and yeah, things like that for some of you, but I do like this menu way more. Can disable that one. And you have priorities, so you can put this one at the top if you want to, and things like that. There's also one more thing I want to tell you guys, that is no intro. If you download this one, you can skip the opening intro, so you get directly into the menu. It saves some time, so that's a good one. It's taking a quick look here, if I remembered everything. No intro, yeah. You don't have to get this one. Not that one. We use No More Plants instead. Here is the Conqueror's menu art, the one that I have installed now. This is going to be in Norwegian, by the way. Yep. Okay. It looks like I have everything I needed now. I'm gonna talk you through it. The first one, small trees we have installed from the first episode, will make all the forests in the game small, so you get a much more better overview, and you can read the situation much better. Probably the best mod you can get, I would say. The next one, we have original sounds. So you have the sounds and sound effects from the 90s. This is the one that I grew up with. I remember playing H back in the day, and these were the sounds and the most memorable effects I had from that period of time. Following up, we have the huge number. The huge number is from the control groups, so you can read what you put in the control group much easier. No More Plants will remove everything like cactuses, plants, shrubs, and bushes that you don't need in a game. It's just for scenery. I have this installed. It's a good mod, I think. I'm using it at least, so it should be a good one. Following up, we have the idle pointers for the idle villagers, so you know when you have an idle villager. In the standard issue of the game, you don't have any pointers for your idle villagers, so it's gonna be harder to notice that you have idle workers. We have classic cliffs. This is for making the cliffs brown instead of gray and like silver texture. We have a big one here where you have the text of the civs next to the names. You can read Aztecs, Italians, Byzantines, Mayans, Spanish, Huns. Instead of knowing about the coat of arms and the weapon shields, it's just going to be very confusing sometimes. Interactive build order guide. I'm going to show you this in a second. I just need a little bit more time. This mod comes with build orders, so you can practice on. I'm going to show you this in a minute. Fish borders. This is for putting rings and like not squares, but what is it called? It is called a square. Like a border, white square border to all fish. Yeah. And this one I have to check if it works. This will replace the resource icon with the original ones. This is the old menu from Age of Conquerors, and then you have no intro, which is skipping the intro to the game. Let's open up a game of Arabia and see how it works. You have the idle villagers over here with exclamation marks. You can also use the hotkey for idle villager, or you can press here to check how many idle you have. Next up, we have the Civ emblems replaced by text. So you can see I have Aztecs in blue, I have Sicilians in green, against Ethiopians in red, Britons in teal, and last we have Persians in the purple. Really useful. I do recommend getting this one. That at the end over there is the age we are currently in. It's dark age for all of us. Moving on, we have the small trees installed. We have the original resource icons, but I don't think it works. So that's that. We have the classic cliffs. I don't know if there's any cliffs on this map. No, there's no cliffs on this map. Just a second, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, we have the huge number, of course, which is the one that I prefer to use. Sorry, this is my scout. You can see the huge number here. I find it so much easier to read. This is the one I use. Huge number. You have the idle pointer, of course. What else? Main menu. Now the fish borders. I can show you the fish borders. And also we have no more plants, so you don't have bushes and like things in the terrain here. It's just looking much more cleaner. You can install a nose mod if you love to. I play without it actually. If you want to get rid of the snow. Let's show you the fish, guys. Hopefully we will get some shorefish now. And some cliffs. Okay, we got some cliffs at least, but no shorefish. The cliffs are brown now, instead of that silver grey texture. Just gonna quickly restart again. Let's go to Team Islands. And I can show you guys the fish. Okay, and you can see all the fish have borders around them. I play like this. You don't have to, but I think it's so much easier to know where the fish is. You don't have to look for it. You just know where it is. And of course, you might have to install the no snow mod, sorry, if you don't like snow. It's really white and they can blind eyes of some of you. Okay. Did I cover everything? The build order guide, we will look at that. Actually, we can just get rid of this. Yeah. These are the mods that I will use in this episode. I'm gonna write them all down. Mods used will be original sounds, huge number, no more plants, idle villager pointer UHD supported, classic cliffs, interactive build order guide, fish borders, auto posteras menu, house concursos, classic menu. Also no intro. These are the mods that I do recommend to play with. Also, I did forget about the text sieve, which is really important. Text sieve emblems. Yeah, that's it. And the way you use this mod here, interactive build order guide, you go to the menu menu here, you go to single player, editors, and right here you can see all of them. So if I were to pick the first one, you say, and I'm so sorry guys. Here you can just see all of the build orders, but this is not how you play them. I'm sorry. You go to single player, you go to skirmish. Skirmish. Like, this is where you play against the AI, the computer where we started all the games always. And then you go game mode, click on that, scroll all the way down to custom scenario, and then you pick it here. Load it, and then start the game. And when you get into this, you will hear a voice. This is a guy called Zero Empires talking. He's one of the community casters, a known guy. And you can see he wants you to make 2 houses, 6 on sheep, like I've taught you in the first episode. And this way you can practice build orders. Yeah, that's it. And he wants you to do 21 villagers. We have 4 now. And yeah, you can take it from there. I'm not gonna play through it. I think that covers most of the things I wanted to do this episode. We have all the mods I wanted to install, just for now at least. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to get to know about, you can ask it now, and I'll try to answer the questions you may have for this episode. Today was hotkeys and mods for this episode. I'm gonna answer any questions if you have. If not, I think I'm done for today. And new episodes every weekend. No questions today? Okay, I'm gonna call it then, guys. I must say thank you for watching. This was the second episode. Many more to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. See you next weekend.